New leaked audio has surfaced, allegedly capturing Diddy's private prison phone calls. And trust me, details are mind-blowing. People are dissecting every word, and some of the theories being thrown around are downright chilling.
Diddy's prison phone call just leaked, and it was posted by Social Details. This is allegedly a call that he had, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of code words in there, so we're gonna listen to it together. Check it out.
Not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes leftover.
Now, this alleged leaked call from Diddy in prison was talking about getting rid of pizza boxes. Now, if you know your stuff and you're privy, you know exactly what pizza stands for, and that's probably what they're talking about and referring to on this alleged leaked call. Pizza, for those who don't know, I'm gonna make it very clean. It has to do with children and selling.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like you talked about.
Now, in this alleged phone call, he starts talking about someone named Jay. People are speculating that maybe Jay-Z, but there's no confirmation. At the same time, he talks about recycling plastic. I don't know what that could mean. If you guys have any idea, comment and let me know.
Everybody out there quiet as motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their good fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
I mean, it seems by the call that he's looking for help. He's saying that a lot of people are quiet, I guess people that are on his side, and that he's gonna have the last laugh at the end.
Man, just do what I told you to do, and don't forget about the list.
And then he goes on to say, don't forget about the list. And we don't know what that list is or what that implies, but this is pretty crazy. Do I think this is legitimate? There is no confirmation yet if this is legitimate or not, but this is the alleged leak call of Diddy. Tell me what you guys think.
In the audio, Diddy can be heard talking about recycling plastic, which has everyone speculating. Some say this could be a coded message, suggesting something far darker. There's a wild theory that recycling plastic might not just mean going green. It could be a metaphor for disposing of something. Some internet sleuths are even suggesting that it could mean bodies labeled with names, wrapped in plastic, and stored away. The idea is terrifying, and if true, it could blow this whole situation wide open. According to insider sources, the leaked audio was obtained by a prison employee who recorded Diddy's phone conversations without his knowledge.
Think I wasn't gonna get at you from the inside?
He has reached out to a witness, an alleged participant in multiple freak-offs.
Then why Oprah staying quiet? Why Ellen moving to another country?
And he's asking people to intimidate witnesses or pay people off.
Don't be shocked if nobody show up to testify. Don't contact me anymore, pup. I already got that Houston lawyer breathing down my neck over that 13-year-old girl. If you don't want things to get worse for you, then you need to start answering my son's phone call.
The defendant's goal is to blackmail victims and witnesses either into silence or providing testimony helpful to his defense.
New York is having a problem with leaks in this Diddy case, with alleged video of the court hearings already on the internet and leaked phone calls where he's calling witnesses. Things are getting out of control and you won't believe what he says on these calls. Recently, the DA released that Diddy was contacting witnesses from jail and they were saying this is the reason that he shouldn't get bail. He was using other inmates' phone calls to three-way people who would then call the witnesses, and that's who he spoke to over the phone. Also, in a weird turn of events, the DA who brought these charges against Diddy is suddenly resigning from his position during the biggest case of his career, and that is strange. So let's break down this insane phone call that we found online. Legal disclaimer, people, I'm just a guy that reacts to stuff I find on the internet. So as of right now, everything is rumors, gossip, or opinions of others. Everything in this video is just a legend.
In one particularly chilling segment, Diddy is heard talking about recycling plastic. While this might sound innocent at first, some are speculating that it could have a much darker meaning. One theory suggests that recycling plastic could refer to the disposal of bodies labeled with names and wrapped in plastic, possibly stored in a freezer. Another interpretation is that Diddy is talking about getting rid of credit cards he used to fly out different women for his parties. The ambiguity of the statement has left everyone on edge.
We've heard news conferences, we've seen raids, we have heard what the federal government has, and one of the things they talked about right out off the jump was they seized tapes, and a lot of people thought, oh my God, there are celebrities on these tapes. involving freak-offs.
Right. Well, we have heard allegations about other celebrities connected to Diddy. But the people on Diddy's side say, we're getting things all mixed up here. And
she blames the media.
Right. She being TriniTEA Garagos, who is one of the attorneys representing Diddy in the federal indictment, in the criminal case against him. And she sat down with Harvey and Mark Garagos for their Two Angry Men podcast. Yes, TriniTEA is Mark's daughter, but this is the questioning. You got into her talking about what Diddy's defense was going to be.
Another theory making the rounds is that recycling plastic might actually refer to destroying evidence, like getting rid of credit cards that he allegedly used to fly different women out. If Diddy is talking about covering his tracks, this could signal an even deeper scandal brewing beneath the surface. But that's not all. In another part of the conversation, Diddy mentions pizza boxes, which has also sparked intense speculation. Some believe this could be a code word for something dangerous or illegal, while others think it might be a reference to drug trafficking or money laundering.
The allegations that we're defending against, but it is driving the vitriol against him in the media.
This kind of created a life of its own, that they had seized videos of the freak-offs, and it kind of spun into who's on those tapes, and Hollywood became unusually silent.
I think there's one huge reason, and that's Tony Busby. Right after the indictment, he came out with a press conference with a 1-800 number behind him, threatening lawsuits against our client without having filed any. And we saw exactly how it played out, and we saw exactly why Hollywood went quiet.
And what she's referring to, part of why Hollywood went quiet is we now know that Tony Busby sent demand letters to several celebrities, most notably Jay-Z, who stood up to that and is actually now suing Tony Busby.
The cryptic nature of Diddy's words has led to a frenzy of theories online, with hashtags like Diddy, audio leak, and shush recycle plastic trending worldwide. Fans and critics alike are trying to piece together what these phrases could mean, and the implications are terrifying. And if that wasn't enough, Diddy also mentioned pizza boxes during the conversation. Now, for those of you who keep up with internet conspiracies, you know that pizza has been used as a code word for some really dark stuff in the past.
And she made that really clear, that it wasn't just going to be a one-off with Jay-Z.
Well, hold on, because Jay-Z is suing him, but she's not representing Jay-Z. She's saying that Diddy is going to file defamation lawsuits against some of the people
who are making allegations out of court. Now, Tony Busby, by the way, you just mentioned something. When we did one of our earlier Downfall of Diddy documentaries, we had Tony Busby on. And I asked him specifically, is the game here to go to high-profile people like a celebrity and say either settle or we're going to file a lawsuit which effectively will ruin your life and your career? And he kind of said that's the drill in civil litigation. So he was open about that. She does not abide by that.
Yeah, look, I think this is what we're seeing here played out in a very public way.
People are speculating that the mention of pizza boxes could mean something dangerous, something hidden behind closed doors that nobody wants to talk about. It's all very cryptic, and the mystery only adds more fuel to the fire. Let's take a closer look at how this story unfolded. Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, is currently behind bars following a series of allegations that have rocked the music industry. The charges range from workplace harassment to more serious claims of abuse, and the case has been one of the most closely watched legal battles in recent memory.
It was gang members. Let's just say if it's like two big, powerful gangs that are killing each other, they'll lock it down countrywide in the feds. They won't let nobody out in the feds because when gangs beef with each other, it goes through the whole system. So if the MS-13s kill somebody that belongs to the Serranos are going to say, any MS-13 we see, we're going to kill them. So they won't let nobody out to the country unless these beefs are squashed. So they'll make shot callers meet each other, and basically with the cops, this is crazy, I know, to make the beef, to squash the beef unless nobody comes out. That's just the way it goes because
We sorry to interrupt. We heard that, you know, where Luigi and Diddy are, it's different, right? It is not the same.
Yes.
It's not your dad's lockup. How will this modified plan, though, affect them? And might these race riots move their way into that unit as well? What happens to them? How different will their daily activities be?
Diddy has consistently denied the allegations, calling them false and defamatory. But these new audio leaks have cast serious doubt on his claims. The implications of this audio are massive. If what's being suggested turns out to be true, this could be the final nail in the coffin for Diddy's career. Legal experts are already weighing in, saying this leaked conversation could lead to serious investigations. Authorities might start digging deeper, looking for connections between Diddy's coded language and any potential illegal activities.
Enforcer who served time in the very same unit where Luigi is housed, and as of now, Luigi's not allowed to have visitors in that unit. Gene, good to have you back on the show. Thanks so much for doing this. What is a modified operation plan? What does that look like?
So if it's a lockdown, the whole building is locked down. It means it's a security risk, which means they will not let you out. Under any circumstances, you have to be escorted by a cop to go anywhere. Like you said, just for a lawyer, you'll only be able to be escorted to the lawyer, and that's it. Which means that if it is locked down, there will be no, in order to shower, you have to come out the cells one by one, and you get like 3 minutes each to even shower. So that means that is, like you just said, it's a race riot. So they can't let nobody out until they know for sure that people aren't gonna attack each other when the cells open up.
So, I mean, it sounds like it's miserable. If you can't have any freedom within an arrangement where you have no freedom, it sounds like this is going to make a lot of people mad.
The leaked audio, which was reportedly obtained through a combination of legal discovery and private investigations, includes conversations where Diddy is heard discussing activities that could be linked to the allegations against him. Legal experts are calling the recordings a game changer, suggesting that they could lead to a conviction if admitted in court. The judge overseeing the case has yet to rule on the admissibility of the audio, but the damage to Diddy's public image may already be irreversible. Social media is in a frenzy. Fans are re-listening to the audio, trying to pick up on every clue, every slip of the tongue.
Act engaging in sex, that he got up close and personal, that he directed these sex acts. I mean, he got very, very specific. And he said these encounters lasted a long time, sometimes more than 18 hours at a time. Remember the allegation talking about freak-offs? These were prolonged sexual episodes. So now John Doe claims that he tried to say, hey, look, this is not my job. I strip, I dance, I don't want to engage in sex acts. But again, he said if he didn't do what Combs wanted, if he didn't drink what Combs gave him, if he didn't apply the baby oil, Combs became enraged. He threw things, he threw his fists at John Doe. And he alleges that he believes that he was raped by Combs. And he doesn't quite remember what happened because he would wake up allegedly in this disoriented state after being what he thinks.
Memes, conspiracy threads, and reaction videos are flooding the internet. It's like a real-life mystery unfolding in real time, and everyone wants to be the first to crack the code. Friends and associates of Diddy have been quick to defend him, calling the recordings fabricated and taken out of context. They insist that Diddy is the victim of a smear campaign designed to tarnish his reputation and legacy. However, others close to the case suggest that the audio is credible and could have a significant impact on the outcome.
12, close to the time the plaintiff got married. Plaintiff hoped that his marriage would serve as a boundary that Combs would respect. Yet, Combs continued to call persistently for months, pressuring plaintiff to return. John Doe claims he wanted to come forward about all of this sooner, but he was very scared that he and his family would be harmed. An important part in any litigation where someone is claiming that they were abused years prior is, why didn't you come forward sooner? So that's a question that plaintiff will face. But John Doe explains in this complaint that when Cassie Ventura, Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend, filed that initial lawsuit back in November of 2023, and then you saw all of these other lawsuits follow, that's when, according to John Doe, quote, he gathered the courage to begin searching for legal representation, but he continued to fear the consequences of bringing his own lawsuit against Combs. And then listen to this. He claims on October 3rd, 2024, so this is after Combs was arrested in New York and indicted on federal.
The emotional toll on Diddy was evident as he sat in court, visibly shaken by the revelations. One witness described him as pale and trembling, a far cry from the confident and charismatic figure the world is used to seeing. Meanwhile, those close to Diddy are either staying quiet or denying everything. His legal team is probably scrambling to figure out how to handle this, but with the internet dissecting every detail, it's going to be tough to control the narrative. Some insiders are saying that more audio clips could leak, which would only dig Diddy into a deeper hole.
That even though the freak-offs happened, these were consensual sexual acts by adults. So how can they do this? They can do it through cross-examination to try to show that the victims who are testifying, they're lying. They can try to pay off the victims, either through an outright bribe or a civil settlement. I'm not accusing anyone of doing anything, but these are all possibilities. The government has raised the possibility that Diddy's trying to intimidate the witnesses so they change their testimony. Because obviously, we know, it doesn't matter what the victims say in their civil complaints or what they told the FBI or prosecutors, they have to take the stand, testify, and tell the jurors the exact same thing. So if these victims go sideways, either before or during trial, that really helps Diddy and the defense team.
Hey, all you business owners or anyone thinking of a side hustle, I have to take a second and tell you about something that could...
This isn't just a story about Diddy. It's about the broader issues of power and accountability in the entertainment industry. The leaked audio has sparked important conversations about how celebrities are held accountable for their actions and whether the legal system is equipped to uncover the truth. Some are calling for reforms to ensure that all evidence is thoroughly reviewed, while others argue that Diddy's situation is a consequence of his alleged actions. The case has also raised questions about the role of privilege and influence in the justice system.
Sidebar episode on it. You can go check it out on our Law and Crime YouTube page for a more deeper dive on that. But again, so now you have Cardella Smith mentioning Tupac. Now at the end of the document, the person, again, purporting to be Sean Combs, writes, I know Mark is going to come out and say that this is not a true document, but I've been working on this for days in code and everything to get it done because these N-words are watching me and I cannot have this be made public, so handle that, and when I get out, we will settle up. Just do not do another restraining order on me, okay? That effed me up royally. Okay, so first of all, correction. So if this really is Sean Combs, now I know why it's a handwritten note, and why he didn't formally write it up, or his lawyers didn't. So it's in secret. He's apparently writing it up while he's at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Okay, makes sense now. Sorry. By the way, Mark seemingly refers to Mark Agnifilo, the high-powered attorney that is representing Combs.
With many wondering whether Diddy's wealth and status have shielded him from accountability for too long. The fallout from this could be catastrophic. Not only could this impact his music career and business ventures, but it might also lead to legal consequences if authorities find any truth in these chilling theories. And if more former associates or insiders come forward with additional information, things could get even messier. As the case continues to unfold, one question looms large. What's next for Diddy?
Because Anthony Rico was someone that Sean Combs was clearly comfortable with. He also grew up in Harlem, and he would often sit next to Sean Combs, kind of keep him calm during court proceedings. And here Rico is now very experienced litigator, represented death row inmates, represented Al-Qaeda defendants, represented cops in the killing of Sean Bell here in New York, an experienced lawyer who now says, for reasons really unknown, that he can no longer represent Sean Combs.
Okay, so Brian, what are some reasons that a lawyer at this stage, not this guy, but some lawyers would step away from a case like this?
Yeah, let's definitely make it not this guy, because while I do know of Tony Rico, he's actually the mentor of my mentor, so we're all in the same kind of field. I don't know why Tony did this, but there are certain reasons why an attorney would back out of a case. And I think there's a lot of speculation of, well, Diddy is so guilty, that's why he would back out. No, we represent people in tough cases.
Will the leaked audio lead to a conviction, or will his legal team find a way to discredit it? And how will this explosive revelation impact his career and legacy? For now, all eyes are on the courtroom as the world waits to see how this story will unfold. Legal experts suggest that the audio could be the tipping point in the case, potentially swaying public opinion and even influencing the judge's decision. At the same time, Diddy's team is reportedly working around the clock to counter the damaging evidence.
Plainly relevant, even critical to the probable cause determination. The government made false statements and omitted critical exculpatory evidence in its warrants applications in this case. This omitted evidence was in the government's possession at the time it sought the warrants. The omissions were intentional, or at the very least, reckless. So, for example, the defense indicates that exculpatory evidence that the government had in its possession was proof that sexual activity here was consensual. But again, they argue that this was hidden in the warrant applications. They go on to say, quote, the core allegation in the warrant applications, and indeed the government's entire case, is that Combs forced victim 1 to participate in FOs. Okay, so victim 1 has never been officially identified, but based on context clues and various filings so far in this case, we believe victim 1 is Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura. FO, by the way, stands for freak off or freak-offs, which is apparently what Combs called group sex sessions that were sometimes filmed, allegedly involved large amounts of things like baby.
But the road ahead looks increasingly difficult. And let's not forget, Diddy has been under scrutiny before. His history is filled with rumors and allegations, but this latest leak could be the most damaging yet. The conversation's cryptic nature only makes things worse, leaving everything open to interpretation. People are pulling up old interviews, past incidents, and even unrelated scandals to try and connect the dots. What's even more interesting is how some celebrities have reacted. A few cryptic tweets and Instagram stories have fans thinking that others in the industry might know more than they're letting on.
A U.S. visa that is about to go public, big portions of it, because a federal judge approved the Department of Homeland Security releasing those documents. Now, the judge said there will be redactions, but this is all about, again, just seems very petty, but this is about figuring out, people want to be able to, certain people want to nail Prince Harry, they think, for lying on his visa application.
There's a question in the visa application whether you have been a drug user in the past. That's the way the question is framed. Harry, in his book Spare, has talked about the fact that he's used cocaine, used marijuana, and
mushrooms.
And now the question, how did he answer that question? So the intimation here is, if he said, no, I'm not a drug user, but he said that in the book, is that lying on a visa?
Are they dropping hints, or are they just as in the dark as the rest of us? Some are suggesting that this might just be the tip of the iceberg, and more revelations could be on the way. Experts are saying that if the authorities decide to take this seriously, they might start looking at every aspect of Diddy's life. His financial records, phone logs, and even his connections to other high-profile figures could come under the microscope. The investigation could widen, drawing in people from his inner circle and beyond.
In Combs' case, they say, look what happened in R. Kelly. In R. Kelly, the court rejected his request for a bill of particulars identifying the victims' identities because of his own history of obstructing, intimidation, and witness tampering. Essentially, they're saying the same thing is happening here. Okay, so now let's go back to this recent letter from the prosecutors, from the government, from February 21st, this letter to the court. And again, this is where the prosecution argues that the defense is not entitled to a bill of particulars identifying victims and identifying witnesses. So after citing how identifying these people carries a risk, the government then writes in its letter, quote, moreover, since filing the motion, the defendant has received substantial additional disclosures, including terabytes of Rule 16 discovery, which provide him with more than sufficient information to prepare for trial, most relevant to the instant.
And the court of public opinion is already in session. Fans and critics alike are taking sides. Some believe the theories wholeheartedly, while others think this is all just an elaborate attempt to bring Diddy down. But with the internet, once a narrative starts, it's almost impossible to change it. And right now, the narrative isn't looking good for Diddy. This whole situation feels like a ticking time bomb. The longer the silence from Diddy's camp, the more suspicious it looks. The internet wants answers, and they want them now.
Reportedly show where you can hear kissing sounds, her telling Combs not to touch her, her allegedly asking about whether she was drugged. Now, we haven't heard these tapes here on Law and Crime yet, but if they are what they purport to be, that is a huge piece of evidence. And remember, we're talking a civil case, we're talking lawsuits. The burden of proof is much lower than a criminal case. It's just preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not that this happened. So the civil suit accuses Christian of assault, battery, sexual assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. They're a big part of this lawsuit. She goes into the mental anguish that she has gone through, the emotional harm that she has suffered as a result of that. It's important in order to prove damages. And by the way, she is...
As more theories emerge and more people start talking, this story could spiral out of control. And if more leaks happen, it could push this scandal into uncharted territory. What's even more alarming is that sources close to the situation are hinting that there might be a trail of evidence much longer than anyone anticipated. The audio leak could just be a teaser of what's to come, with more explosive information waiting to be revealed. There are whispers of financial documents, secret communications, and hidden transactions that could unravel Diddy's entire empire. Some experts are now suggesting that this case could lead to more witnesses stepping forward. If others feel emboldened by this audio leak, it might open the floodgates for more allegations, more stories, and potentially more evidence. It's a domino effect waiting to happen, and the first piece has already fallen.
They have that places them outside of the paradigm of what everyday people like my clients have to deal with. As to your third question about the timing of the lawsuit, I think it goes right along with what you asked me about at the top, which was her attorney's statement. These types of things where you see that the government is intervening, it's almost like before that, a lot of victims of crimes are under a type of gaslighting by the public, by society, by their own family members, that they shouldn't try to hurt this successful man who's done so much for his community. Because remember, he's also a philanthropist, he's also a mogul, he's also a leader that people really looked up to. And I'm sure that many people were discouraged from speaking out against him. And now that he has been federally indicted, some of that armor is gone and people probably feel more comfortable.
The real question is how far this will go. Could this leak trigger a full-scale investigation? Could we see law enforcement digging through past records, searching for proof to match these chilling theories? And if so, who else could get dragged into the mix? So, what do you think? Is Diddy using coded language to hide something sinister? Or is this just another conspiracy theory blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on this developing story. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. The truth is still out there, and every day brings new clues. The only thing we know for sure is that this story is far from over. Keep your eyes and ears open, because when the truth finally comes out, it could change everything.